Our newest member of the armed forces presented draped the POWMIA flag. As you rode in this morning, you might have noticed this small table here. It's set in a very prominent place so that it will be drawn to your attention. And it's very representative. We'd like to share with you today what it represents. This table is small, and it symbolizes the frailty of one prisoner alone against a great enemy. On the table are placed some things. There's a plate on the table, and the plate is covered with salt and a lemon wedge. The salt is to remind us of the tears shed by the family of a prisoner who wait patiently and sometimes have no word. And the lemon reminds us of the bitterness of their plight, alone against an enemy. On the table is also a glass inverted. That glass represents the fact that our comrade is missing from our presence. They can't enjoy this day's festivities. And because of that, we pause and we remember. Also on the table is a vase. And around that vase is a red ribbon. That red ribbon is reminiscent of the thousands of red ribbons that we see worn by American citizens who declare that we demand an accounting for our prisoners of war missing in action. Within the vase is a red rose. And that red rose symbolizes the purity of the intention of that individual as they left the safety of this nation to go into harm's way to defend our freedoms here at home. There's also a candle on the table. And the light of that candle is to remind us of the light of hope that burns within the breast of each prisoner who is waiting in captivity, hoping that his comrades and his country will see his quick and safe return home. There's a flag folded 3 quarters on the table that represents to us that some of those prisoners have died in captivity. And they've given their last full measure on some foreign shore or in some foreign land, and their bones are left there to enrich the soil where they lie. On the table there's also a Bible. And that Bible reminds us that true freedom is found within. And it can only be had in a relationship with God. He is the author of liberty. You'll notice that the chair is empty. That again reminds us that our comrade is not here with us. You know, I don't know how many of us here today are veterans? How many of us here today are combat veterans? Believe me when I tell you, no one prays for peace like a combat veteran. We understand when we go there and when we do that so that others don't have to. And this today is about those that go there and do that and don't come back. I remember in boot camp we received training in the code of conduct, and we received what was considered standing orders. And some of those orders, I think the first one was, as you stand guard, you're to march your perimeter in a military manner, keeping always on the alert, and allowing no one to enter your space without proper authorization and identity. Well, the 8th article states something along the lines of, if you are captured by the enemy, keep faith with your fellow prisoners and with your countrymen, because the United States of America will spare no effort to see your timely return to your loved ones. At the end of hostilities in Vietnam, we left 1,773 still known alive Americans in captivity. In 1992, at the stroke of a pen at midnight, those same MIAs and POWs were all relegated to KIA-BNR, which stands for Killed in Action, Body Not Recovered. Now, I personally do not believe there are any Americans still being held in captivity in Vietnam. I believe any that were that didn't want to be there have long since perished. But the bottom line is this: when we as a nation send people into harm's way, it is our obligation as a nation to see a full accounting for each and every one. The American biker is really the last voice that POWs and MIAs have. How many of us today have a patch on our vest, or a sticker on our bike, or a band on our wrist that declares that we expect our leadership in this nation to bring our POWs and MIAs home? And if not, we at least expect to know what happened. Any opportunity that we have, it is our responsibility to tell our elected officials that we expect them to make sure when we send somebody into harm's way that we bring them home. If not alive, then we bring them back so that their family can give them a decent burial. And as I say, we, bikers, are just about the last voice that's had anymore for POWs and MIAs. I'd like to observe a moment of silence now in honor of those that have given their last full measure and were not able to return home. Would you bow with me?